In today's video, we're exploring Onion Creek, a beautiful community in South Austin. This is a tucked away community very close to I-35 and South Park Meadows, but far enough away where, as you can tell, it's extremely quiet and serene out here. This video, I've been waiting a long time to do this one, so I'm really excited to go explore and share Onion Creek with you. We're gonna check it out right now. Hey, Daniel here, a local Austin area real estate expert. If you're thinking of making a move to the greater Austin area, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on the latest real estate news. You know, I was a teacher for 10 years before I jumped into real estate, and I found that a lot of the skills and values I had as a teacher have transferred over really well into real estate. Being honest, having a good work ethic, good communication skills, and really just caring about other people's goals and helping them get to that finish line is what makes me want to do this job. So it doesn't matter if you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. Love to help you and your family find the perfect home in the greater Austin area. So like I said in the intro, where we are today is Onion Creek. I really like this neighborhood. It's a very, very beautiful neighborhood. Mature trees. I'll kind of pan around so you can kind of see I'm just kind of walking the street right now. But every different street here has its own little character. Right now we're on River Plantation. It's actually the main road cutting through, so that's why throughout the video here you're going to see kind of cars passing us by. There's a lot of more tucked away streets that we'll explore later in the video, but I used to live actually close to here. When I first moved to Austin in 2018, I rented a house. I was still a band director then. I actually taught at Aikens High School, which is just across the highway. And when I rented that house, I would go for runs, but that area wasn't great to run in, so I would run across the highway to run in Onion Creek because I loved this community so much even back then. So I'm excited to check out some of the homes here. Beautiful homes, definitely a higher price point than the surrounding neighborhoods, so we're looking in the 600 to 800, 900,000 homes. We're gonna check out 3, and I'm gonna give you my unbiased opinion on pros and cons of the layout and just living in Onion Creek. A couple things about this neighborhood. The HOA is $420 annually. That comes out to about $35 a month, something like that, which is pretty low. And then you are part of a golf course club. So you would have to pay obviously to be part of the club, but this is a golf course community. Finally, the tax rate here is 1.98%. I always say if it's under 2%, that's a pretty low tax rate, especially when we're dealing with homes at a higher price point like this video. Tax rate does matter. So it is nice that we're getting slightly under 2% for the property tax rate. All right, let's go check out house number 1. So the first house we're checking out is a 4-bed, 2-bath, 2,367 square foot home, 1 story, and this one's listed at $649,000. This home's been on market for only 7 days as of recording. Honestly, by the time I upload this video, it may already be off market. This is a really cool house. I just went inside and turned the lights on. I'm a big fan of this house to start the video off. I'm gonna pan around so you kind of see where we're at. So this is River Plantation, as I said in the intro, the main road. So you are gonna have some traffic here. It's kind of a little bit of a downside. Honestly, when I was inside, I didn't hear anything, so I don't think that's too much of an issue. You can park on the street. As you can see, I've parked here on the street. Plenty of room on the street for parking. Most people don't park on the street, so if you do have guests over, you have that option. But you have this really long driveway coming in to a 2-car garage. So you can probably fit all of your guests in your driveway, but if not, you do have the street as a backup. Well, this beautiful stone white exterior that wraps around the entire house. Really clean look. And then plenty of opportunity. If you have a green thumb, plant some different flowers here, however you would want to. Nice front patio spot right here. Yeah, let's check it out. I do have a door code to get into the house, as I trip and almost die. So the flooring was the first thing that caught my eye when I walked in. This wood panel flooring looks really nice. It smells like fresh wood a little bit. There's like a hint of that in the air. I quite like it when I walked into the room. As soon as you walk in, we have our study over here to the left. Really good sized study. A built-in bookshelf, which looks great. And then we have a closet in the corner there with natural light, and you can see out to your front door from here. Beautiful French doors. This is just a coat closet. And then the main event is this. This took my breath away when I walked in. It is a beautiful open concept, living room, kitchen. This is one of my favorite kitchens I've ever been in. But let's hold off for the flow of the video. We're gonna go this way first, and then we'll come back to the kitchen. So this is kind of the guest wing, okay, slash second study if you need it. So the very back here, we have guest bedroom number 1. If you wanna use it as a guest bedroom, you know, with the track lighting, that feels a little weird to use this as a guest bedroom, but you can. And then decent sized closet for a guest room. All of the rooms have plantation shutters, which is really nice, really easy to, if you want to let in more natural light, you can just open up the whole thing, right? Works like that. Or you can just close it like that if you want more privacy or just less light coming in. So love plantation shutters, they look fantastic. Over here, we actually have our second guest room with a Murphy bed. So you don't see that too often, but the built-in Murphy bed in this bookshelf does convey with the property. So this is a perfect, ready to go guest bedroom slash you can use it for other, maybe a workout space when you don't have guests over because the bed folds up. And then every room does have a ceiling fan. And then this is the guest bathroom, 2 sinks, decent amount of space. Nothing too fancy in here. Right, I mean the tile doesn't go floor to ceiling, stops right there. It's not the biggest amount of space. This off-color white creamy look I'm not a big fan of, like the color of the door and trim. It's also just the light bulbs they decided to put in here. It gives it more of a yellow tinge in this room. But I'm being a little picky. All right, let's get to my favorite part of the house. This kitchen rocks. I really like this kitchen. So we have the biggest range I've ever seen. It's gotta be 40 plus inches wide. You have 6 burners on this guy, plus the oven below. The backsplash is really cool, this black hexagon, but then you get closer, you can see, I gotta get the camera lower. You can see kind of these shell imprints throughout. Looks great. And then they were smart, they did these black electrical outlets throughout, so it blends well. They even have black light switches here to blend well with that. So really cool backsplash. Really interesting, this granite countertop. I mean, that looks incredible. That's really high quality for that countertop. All of the cupboards are soft close, so nice cabinets with that. And then massive island here in the middle. Really like the light fixtures they decided to put there. I didn't find a light switch for that. We do have kind of a microwave right there. It's a little, I don't know, not as fun, right? It's not built in, it's just a microwave put there. So that's not ideal, but most people aren't gonna see that. Ton of storage space. And then really high-end cabinets, I should say. And it looks like this is a pull-out trash. Yeah, pull-out trash right there. Love the soft close. Beautiful high-end refrigerator. I'm not sure if it conveys or not, but everything's negotiable in this market. And then the underlighting underneath the cabinets has a nice look. And then if you like wine, I mean, who needs a cellar? This is already built in. They have little notes. The listing agent was smart where he basically said, if you're not a wine enthusiast, this is easily removable. This doesn't need to stay. I think this looks amazing. Even if you're not a wine enthusiast, it just gives it a cool look to the room. And then we have our dining area here. Not the biggest dining area. I will say some of the staging is a little suspect. As I walk through, I'm like, I wouldn't have put that there. I wouldn't have put that there. You know, I talked over, but like the study, when we first walked in, there's just chairs all the way. So when I had to walk through to turn lights on, it was uncomfortable and it felt small. So same with this, I would say this is a really big table. And with all these chairs, it makes it kind of tough to get to that door. So I maybe wouldn't have used that, you know, to stage the house or use less chairs maybe. It's small things. So I'm noticing now they have a little doggy door back here, so that's a nice touch. But you can see the plantation shutters throughout. So you can open up all of those, let in all the natural light. Let's go out the backyard, see what that looks like. So I do like the amount of space here that has the stone flooring. I wish the roof was extended a little bit, just a little bit, because we get out to here, depending on the time of day, right? Depends on where the sun is in the sky, if you're gonna have shade or not. But as far as, you know, if it's raining, you have kind of a skinny amount that is actually covered. So that'd be my one little complaint with this, but I like the stone exterior continues all the way back here. And then you have plenty of grass. I'm not a big fan of these plastic chairs that kind of put in each corner. Doesn't look great, but you can see what they've done there with the stone pathway, so you can have a little bit of a fireplace area. And then over here, a raised deck. So you have different options with this beautiful tree giving you a bunch of shade here. Stand over here so you get a sense of what it looks like. Some flower beds, really cute little sheds over there in the corner here. Don't take up that much room. It's a really cool backyard, very serene, very quiet. And then great thing about this lot placement is what's behind you. So you have no rear neighbor. You just have this pavilion with some park benches, and that's it. And then this is a cul-de-sac, so no through traffic behind you. So that's fantastic for lot placement. Another great aspect of this, what they did is they included a gate. So you do have access to just going through your back gate and then taking your dog on a walk straight into that park. That's a nice little feature. I can't get over this kitchen. I really love this kitchen. And this wine rack, it's very cool. Okay, living room. So we have a couple hutches, right, built into either side of the fireplace. It looks very beautiful. It looks like it's a gas fireplace, question mark. I might be wrong about that. Let me look closer at it. No, this might be a wood burning fireplace. I don't see a key for a gas, so yeah, that looks like wood burning. Something I don't like is, because of how this is, you have to put your TV there. That's really high. Like, I'm 6'1" and my eye level is there, facing straight forward. So sitting down, that's crazy. Like, no one's gonna watch TV like at the ceiling, right? So that's something, you know, with this layout, you can't put the TV there, obviously. You could put it here. That's kind of weird with the fireplace. Everything says we should be looking this way. So I don't know, maybe you'll just become a better person and not watch as much TV, or you'll watch TV in a different spot in the house. But that's one thing I noticed where I thought that's not gonna work for the big TV I have in my living room. As much as I like watching TV at night and playing video games, that would bother me. So I don't know if there's a way around that, but a little bit odd with the staging of this as far as the height of the mantle above there. But I do like the hutches either side. That looks great. Add some personal family photos there. I mean, it makes it easy to decorate. It just gives you places. This is where you decorate. This is where you put your photos. To the right, we have our utility room. These cupboards are definitely cheaper. So these cabinets, you can tell they not soft close, right? It probably came with the original, 2001 build of this house. I do like that we have countertop in here. We have a sink. And then plenty of space. I would just want to refinish those cabinets, maybe change them out to be the same type as the ones in the kitchen. And then 2-car garage, does come with a garage door opener. Ton of natural light. I have no lights turned on in here. This is just all natural light right now. So a really good amount of space. I'm not 100% sure what this is. Puronics, maybe water softener. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of pipes here connected to the water heater. So I definitely want to ask what that is about. If you know what Puronics is, tell me below. Always eager to learn. And then the primary bedroom, which apart from the kitchen, I think this is my second favorite. So primary bedroom, this is something I'm noticing more and more. These types of fans that don't have a light attached, I don't like that personally. It just kind of forces you to use the lamp. I guess it makes a little bit more sense. When I go to bed, usually it's the lamp I turn on, not the overhead light. I like the option. Anyway, I like that we have this bay windows pushed out, so you have a little more space. I think it's kind of weird that they put this here, because again, it blocks this door. This door leading straight out is a nice feature also, so you have dual access to that backyard. Really big area, and I like the thin windows there, and then the big windows here, all private though. You can keep them open, no one can see inside. And then a really cool primary bathroom. Interesting light fixture in the ceiling. I mean, everything just catches my eye. Very different, right? So we have tile flooring in here for much darker gray wood, super large shower, extra large shower. The pebble flooring, really interesting tile on the side here. It says imported Italian tile. Look at that. So it's even fancier. It's from Europe. And then we have, looks like we have jets coming out of here, regular shower. And then we have the waterfall and then natural light coming in there too. This is a gorgeous shower, absolutely gorgeous. Separated sinks, extra storage here, plenty of storage here. Toilet with cabinets above, and then your primary closet. Decent amount of space, not crazy. It's okay, built-in shelves. And then looks like dehumidifiers in the mirror there, right? So, cool. There you have it. This is gonna be a long video. I'm really excited about these homes. This is only one of three. So that was house number one. I'm a big fan of this one. Now it'll be interesting to compare the price because it's gonna be very similar in price to the next home we check out and kind of see which house has the best pros and cons about it. So I'll see you over at house number two. All right, next house we're checking out is a 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 2,659 square foot home. This one's listed at $669,000. It was originally $675,000, so they've dropped it a little bit by $6,000. Been on market for 40 days as of recording. And it's about, like I said, about 300, 250 more square feet than the previous home. Very different house, very different house. As far as location, we went further down Pinehurst. So Pinehurst and River Plantation are the two main roads inside Onion Creek. And so we're at the very back of the neighborhood. This is actually 1.4 miles from the first house we were at, which was closer to the front of the neighborhood. That could be good or bad depending on how you see it. Good because you are further away. I mean, there's no through traffic back here. So perfectly quiet. I'll be shocked if any cars go by as I'm talking at the beginning of this video. And then bad because you are having to drive into the neighborhood more to get to your house. So it's a little bit more of a hassle getting in and out of the neighborhood back here, but it is definitely quieter. I'll pan around so you can see where we're at. We're actually on a 1/4 acre. I'm not sure if there's plans for this. Surely there's not. This late into the game, they're not still building out here. So it looks like we have just kind of an open field. Again, great not having a neighbor right in front of you. More of the mature trees. And then here's the house. Let's check it out. Very different, like I said, exterior and interior. So we do have a 2-car garage, a little bit more traditional with front facing, right? And this very, very wide driveway here. And then plenty of parking on the street. Like I said, no one drives down here, so plenty of space there. Brick exterior, and then kind of a Tuscan look with the roof there. Not bad, it's kind of different. I don't feel like they lean into that enough. The brick probably isn't doing it as much for me as the stone was. And then we didn't really do much with the landscaping here, so definitely somewhat of a missed opportunity compared to the previous home where they had quite a few different flowers planted. I do like this front door area. And I also like that we have this little walkway, and it's really private because you have walls either side. So you have this little spot here that's very, very private, just for you if you want to sit out in the front. But large entry door with the windows either side. Let's check it out. So this home was built in 1989. So 12 years before the last house we saw. You can tell it's a way different. It's just different. So let's check it out. We have this bookshelf here, just shelf here, kind of odd to me to have that here. I don't know why it's there. Maybe they just didn't move it out, but that's where I would put, my shoes, hang my coat. I have a little bench here, so that's nice. And then your living area here, which we will come back to because we are right next to this wing of the house. So let's come over here first. Constantly floor changing. So we have this herringbone tile over here. Then we have this really weird, I don't know why they chose to do this, just in the entryway, but it kind of bleeds into the living room. And then we go into different tile, not herringbone, for these areas, which looks like that one's darker than this one. So kind of weird. They didn't pick one and stick with it. This is the primary where I'm standing right now. Pretty dark in here, but they do have the curtains pulled. Really large area though, good amount of space. And then bathroom's cool. I think I still prefer the last bathroom, but this one is cool. It has a skylight. Yeah, that's rare, you don't see that often. And then this really cool backsplash here. You have his and her closets, so closet number 1, closet number 2. After seeing that last shower, this seems so small and lame to me, but it is a nice shower. I like, again, we have the interesting tile pattern in there also from what we saw behind the bathtub. And then 2 different sinks, pretty boring as far as kind of builder grade mirror here. I do like the faucet though, it's a cool little design with that turn handle. And then walking further down here are more of the guest rooms. So here's guest room number 1, right next door. No carpet, good amount of space. Here's just a very large linen closet. Guest bathroom, really different design. It seems like they just went to the tile store and couldn't make a decision, so they got everything they liked. So interesting, different tile here. And then we have more of the white. Really nice shower for the guest bathroom. I think the shower is actually bigger here than in the primary. And then natural light, you can see coming in. Guest bathroom. I like the separated sinks. That's a nice little style choice. And then this is guest bedroom number 2. Again, no carpet, tile flooring. I'll kind of walk to the front. I definitely prefer the wood flooring that was in the previous home compared to this tile flooring. Also just them not being able to pick. Like even here, it looks like it's probably the same flooring, but we went this way. And then for some reason, we started going that way. It's weird. There's no cohesiveness to the flooring here. And this just looks much darker than this flooring. So the flooring is bothering me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. All right, so now the living room area. Quite a bit of natural light coming in from that wall. That's great. And then we have definitely a wood burning fireplace. Again, hutch on either side. I love that we have the open glass windows either side. This looks great. I'm not a big fan of the tile that they have built behind this fireplace. It doesn't really do it for me as far as the style with these gold stars, but that's personal preference. A lot of what I'm gonna say is personal preference. Here we have kind of a flex area, however you'd want to use this space. Could be formal dining, could be, I don't know, pool table, board game hangout spot, office space here, however you want to use it, but just open space. And then half bath right here, really cool. Again, that tile store had really cool large black squares, so let's get them. It does look good, it's just, again, not a lot of cohesiveness. Washer dryer, it seems like they took the washer, so just the dryer here. Open shelving above. Do get a sink with this one also. And then 2-car garage. This one's definitely wider than the previous one because you have that divider, but there's no natural light in here. I definitely prefer the previous garage purely because of the amount of natural light coming into the garage. This house also, it just feels older. Like walking through, it feels a little bit more wear and tear has happened when I look at just some of the stuff of like, okay, this looks like it's 30, 35 years old. So right now the other house is definitely winning. There's a couple of the rooms I want to show you because it does get interesting. So we have this room here, again, changing the tile. We were doing the herringbone. Now we go this way, dark tile. I don't know what you would call this room. I guess they're calling it a bedroom. But you have a sliding glass door that goes to the side of the house. So really interesting. Not sure how you would want to use this room. And then this shocked me. I was not expecting this when I walked in here. What is with kitchens in Onion Creek? This is beautiful. And it's random. I mean, it's going along with the rest of the house. Every room is so different. But I wish the rest of the house just copied this style. It's super modern and sleek. We have these great lights, like sconces on the walls here. We have this waterfall island, right, either side. There's really cool different textures of the white to the black to the light wood feel there. Looks great, and then just very clean, right? Nothing too fancy with the backsplash, but it's just very clean, and then goes into the white of the wall there. Yeah, really, really cool area. And part of it's just the lighting. What they've done with the lighting here, the pendant lights over the island too, add a big factor to it, but this is a cool area. I really like this kitchen. Very random. I was not expecting to see in here. And then we have like a different fireplace with a different hutch, and again, different design. So again, matches that. I wish the rest of the house matched that. And then dining room is what they're using this for, with more storage there. So very cool. I would want to make this the living room if I was living here, and then I don't know what I would do with this area, just because this feels like I'm in a brand new home and I'm a very cool guy. Whereas this feels like I'm in a home built in 1989 and I need to remodel. Again, personal opinion, but really like that. I wish there was more of that throughout this house. Check out the backyard. Definitely a little bit longer as far as this is the covering for the back patio here. Not a huge fan of this tile design, but again, personal preference. I wish it did continue though, instead of just having this tile that definitely needs to be pressure washed. No cover also. Again, I wish there was something covering over here. A good amount of space for the yard. Definitely a good amount of space. We're on a 1/4 acre, so we're pretty far away from our neighbors with the mature trees too. That gives you a lot of privacy. I still think the previous house's yard and lot placement are better than this one. The no rear neighbor having that that gate that leads directly to the pavilion park area, and then they just had different stuff already kind of built out. This is kind of a blank canvas. You know, maybe you want to add a pool. Well, you have room to do that here. The last house you wouldn't have that, so it's kind of what your plans are. But if you're looking to just move into the house and not do any upgrades or any renovations, I think that last house was probably better situated for that, which is what I would want. So yeah, this one's really interesting. I don't know how to feel about it. Going down that first corridor, it's super tight. So this one just doesn't feel as open and modern, except for when you get to that really random kitchen dining area. And then just the different flooring is throwing me for a loop. So I'm not the biggest fan of this house, unfortunately. I really like that first one. But we have one more home. This one definitely jumps up in price point, jumps up to over 4,000 square feet. So it's gonna be a massive house, very different from these two. But I wanted to go check it out, so I'll see you over at house number 3. All right, the final house we're checking out in Onion Creek is a 6-bed, 3.5 bath, 4,032 square foot home. This home is listed at $850,000. It was originally listed at $925,000. It's been on the market for 89 days as of recording, so that's why they've dropped it by $75,000. I just turned on the lights, did a little tour of it before I turned the camera on. I don't know how I feel about this house. I'm conflicted. So we'll explain as we're going through. I was really excited to see it from the pictures online, and then after walking through, I feel a little bit let down, but we'll discuss. We are back on River Plantation, so the first street we were on. So definitely a busier street. As I've been standing out here, this car is constantly going by. Yeah, let's check it out. So 2-car garage like the previous two. They do have 3-car garages here. It's just luck of the draw with the videos I chose today. We're only seeing 2-car garages. We have very different front, right? So we have an upper balcony and lower balcony in the front, and then these gray garage doors and railings against this red brick. Looks clean, looks nice. I didn't look, let me look right now. This was built, looking at my notes here, this was built in 2001. Okay, so same year as the first house. Nice little front patio spot that you have plenty of room. You could put a couple of chairs here for sure. That mature tree to look at. All right, let's check it out. So this house is $200,000 more than the first house we saw, right? So it should feel way different. It is gonna be much bigger, right? It's 6 bedrooms, very different layout, and then there's a pool in the backyard. That's the main reason why it's way higher. I will say the first thing I notice when I walk in, and what you would notice if you were here, is it's hot. It's really humid in here, and that's because they don't have the AC on. If you're listing your home, keep the AC on because it makes showing so much worse. I was walking through turning lights on and I wanted to get out of this house because it felt so uncomfortable being in here. It's also a bigger home, and so that leads me to think, well, how much does it cost, like the air bill? How much is it, you know, the air conditioning costing them? Are they turning it off because it costs so much because the house is so big? So word of warning, if you are thinking of selling your house at some point, AC needs to stay turned on, because when it's off, people start having questions. Is it broken? Is it expensive? And that's why they don't have it running, you know, yada, yada, yada. So something to bear in mind. We open to kind of a flex area. I'm not sure how we would use this area. We have a small corridor back there that leads to the kitchen. We'll go over there in a second. But to the right here, we have a more traditional office space. Pretty good amount of space. I like a lot of natural light looking out to the front yard. Closet space here. And then it looks like we have LVP flooring. So I will say the flooring is consistent throughout. It's not as high quality as the previous two homes though, as far as the LVP flooring. It's not that wood from the first home or the 20 different tiles we saw in the second home. Not a big fan of the blue cabinets here. These are things you can definitely ask them to paint before you move in. But apart from that, interesting fixtures here. I like the gold accents throughout. Really bold with the tile design here. I don't hate it, right? But it's very different. This is more of a interesting looking tub than workable tub. I'm 6'1". That's never gonna work for me. That's a very, very skinny lengthwise tub, and then kind of a small shower compared to what we've seen. But I do like the style. This is a very different style. I like that we went with the gold. That looks nice. And then here's the walk-in closet, very long, no natural light, but it is a decent amount of space in here. And then toilet, no cabinets. Primary bedroom, looking out to your beautiful pool. No carpet, which I like. I wish the flooring was a little bit higher quality, personally, for this price point. But the amount of space is nice. So that's where we came in. Now we are living area. This is just more storage under the stairs. Really cool. Plenty of storage down there. Super tall ceilings when you come into the primary living area. We do have a gas fireplace. This one is gas. And you can kind of see super high TV. Maybe it's just me, but I want my TVs lower. I just want them lower. But yeah, really good amount of space here. Definitely need to figure out if we want to add blinds or shades to these. And then here's the kitchen. So this was the hallway that leads to the front, kind of a weird winding hallway, no doors in here. Very odd. And then the kitchen. So this kitchen, I don't really like it. I think it's the worst one of the three, and it's the most expensive, so I was kind of surprised. It's an okay countertop. I don't know why they have so many different magazines covering the countertop. The cabinets, really old. They are soft close, so that's a nice touch. And then you get the large single basin sink, but this built-in range is only 4 burners. It's really, really skinny. There are some small nice features. I mean, you have the small wine fridge here. You don't have the waterfall island. I think the previous two homes' kitchens far superior than this kitchen. This is a nice kitchen. Like, if I look at 100 kitchens randomly, this is gonna be in the top. But we just saw 2 really, really nice kitchens, $200,000 cheaper. So kitchen is not really doing it for me after those 2 tours. Pantry, pretty basic. Washroom, kind of odd. They got like the smallest dryer I've ever seen, so it just makes the space look a little weird. But I like that we have natural light coming in. We have the cabinets above, so keep it clean looking. More pantry, so walk-in pantry further back here. And then really don't like this this garage. Again, the smell. They were staining wood or something in here, but there's a deep chemical smell in here that I do not like. And then no natural light coming in here. And not really that much bigger than anything else we've seen. Now let's check out the pool. I'm gonna be relatively quick here because this is wasp central. And so there's a couple wasp nests up there. And then as I walked around earlier, there's 10 others just along the house. So something I'm gonna tell the listing agent about afterwards. So we can look back here, not the biggest covered. I wish this went further out and remained covered. And the chairs honestly are kind of showcasing how little room you have. Like those chairs block being able to walk across that way. I wouldn't even put those chairs there. And then we have this little walkway here, a little flower path, that's cool. It's a little interesting area. Something I dislike about this backyard is there are no trees at all. And you look at every other yard around you, and it's just so much tree. And I really want to be in the shade right now, and I can't. So I also want to jump in the pool right now. But that's something that I feel like is missing a little bit. This is a really nice sized pool. I would want to put some sort of brick wall around that pump so I don't have to hear it. It's quite loud. But then I wish there was like a tree here or some sort of pavilion built just to give a little bit of shade. You're really getting nothing except for this corner of the house, but over by the pool, zero shade. The fence is in really good condition. The fence looks fantastic, actually. Looks like it was just repainted. And then back of the house, we did some hardy plank. So not the fanciest look, and then the brick on the lower half. The black gravel. Backyard's okay. Again, I think comparing it to two homes that were $200,000 lower price, I'm expecting everything to be better. And really it's just more space, right? That's the main thing I'm getting, and you get a pool. So you get a pool and more space, but as far as the layout of the space and the features of the backyard, apart from the pool, I don't really like this house that much, to be honest. Now, let's go upstairs, because upstairs is definitely the coolest, or one of the coolest parts of the house. And really it's more of if this is a right fit for you. So, you know, I used to think that a 6-bedroom home was for someone who had a big family still at the house. But then my mother-in-law actually bought a 6-bedroom house in Houston, and I thought, that's weird, it's just her and her husband, like all the kids are gone now. But it's really nice whenever we have family gatherings, because my wife and I, we have our own room upstairs, her sister has her own room, her brother has her own room, and the layout of the house is smart, because it's a 6-bedroom, but you have primary study downstairs, and that's what my mother-in-law and her husband use day to day. They never go upstairs. Upstairs is just there for when family comes, they have a very comfortable area for themselves. So 6-bedroom can make sense if you're just a couple, an older couple, for when you have guests over. This exemplifies that, I feel like. So this is definitely a really interesting upstairs. So I'll walk around. So starting with this room, we have a really interesting design with the vaulted ceilings up here and this interesting arched window. I'm a fan of just not a box room, right? So I love the different dimensions in here. This could be a really cool reading nook area with the trees kind of looking out here. Good view, just good amount of space in this room. And then we have 2 sinks, separated mirrors, natural light coming in. A pretty skinny bathroom, but nice. Same flooring as we had downstairs, which it gets a little repetitive, a little boring. Here's the 2nd bedroom upstairs. This one's a little bit more square, right? Kind of a boring bedroom up here, just a single window. And then 3rd bedroom above the primary. Definitely the smallest of the bunch, but not bad by any means. Looking out to the pool. And then we have really cool railing here. This looks out to the living room, letting in more natural light up there. And then another kind of landing here. We have an upstairs deck that we saw in front of the house. Again, this is Wasp Central, so I'm not gonna stay out here long. This deck isn't quite work just because we're right next to a busy road. So you probably wouldn't be out here often because it is pretty consistent road noise being out here. But I like the privacy with those trees, and then just having those French doors adds a touch. It just keeps it stylistically interesting. This caught me by surprise. This is pretty cool. So we have a whole wing of the house upstairs that you have a massive game room, which they were smart leaving the pool table and everything up here with your own little bar area. This looks really cool. Was not expecting to see this up here. And a ton of natural light. I mean, this has 4 windows. I think this has the most windows out of any room in the entire house, except for the living room. And then back here is another guest bedroom. So this is the 4th one upstairs. Really cool, different styles with the windows here and that arch. And they have their own ensuite bathroom here, which isn't bad. walk-in shower area. This is a nicer shower than the primary gets. And then same length of closet too. So I'm curious if this was remodeled to make this happen up here. But yeah, this surprised me. I like this little extra wing of the house. So I would say if you're someone who has a lot of social gatherings, maybe you do have a big family, maybe they even moved out of the house, but when they come back, they like to play games, they like to be rowdy, they need their own space. This could work for you. I don't know about the price. I get the pool, right? The pool adds quite a bit of value. Yeah, I don't know. There's things I'd want to add to make this house perfect. Personally, of the three we looked at today, not just considering price, but just the layout of the house, I think house number one is a clear winner in my mind. I loved everything about that house. The kitchen was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love that it's a one-story. You have the study, you have the garage with all that natural light coming in. Really interesting backyard with things already built out, with a fire pit, with a gate to the pavilion, with a raised deck. Yeah, it was just interesting. That wine rack is really cool. So I think that house is the winner. I just have to figure out where to put my TV. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think. Put the comments below. If you're thinking of moving to the South Austin area, maybe you're not looking at this price range yet. This is a really good reason to, if you're renting right now, to consider buying a house, because I couldn't afford any of these homes, but I know in 15 years, 20 years from being a homeowner, I probably could afford some of these homes because I would sell my current house and upgrade to my forever home or a bigger home or a nicer home. So I hope these kind of excited you a little bit about Onion Creek. If you are in a position where you are looking for your forever home, Onion Creek's definitely something to look at if you're wanting to stay in the South Austin area. With its location being so close to I-35, easy access from South Austin, as well as just the neighborhood itself is so nice. Being close to that golf course, whether you play golf or not, it's just a really pleasant neighborhood to take a walk around. So yeah, I really like Onion Creek. I hope to come back here. But it doesn't matter if you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. I'd love to help you and your family find whether it's a beautiful $850,000 home with a pool in Onion Creek, or we're looking for our starter home, $300,000. We just want to start building equity and growing to be able to get a home like this in the future. Happy to help you find whatever is in the best interest of you and in your stage of your life. So please reach out if I can help in any way. And until next time, I hope to see you guys around town. I gotta get out of this house. This is so sweaty in here, so I'm gonna go home and take a shower.